You know, like I say, I'm always being blessed with these frauds being conducted against me, which involve attorneys, which requires the judges to jump in and aid and abet and violate my rights in order to protect their kind as promised in the law schools from where they were all corrupted in the first place. So anyway, I'm renting this house to this lady, Miss Dr. Moore, and she moves in and immediately goes on a trip and has to go, you know, she moves in. My ad says a large dog required. She says, I'm going to get a dog. I said, okay. She said, I want to get a puppy. I said, well, you can't get a, here's the deal. If you get a puppy, you have to give me an additional month's rent, $1,700, because I'm either going to have to replace the carpets or I'm going to have to leave it vacant for 30 days for the smell to go away, because you're going to, you know, your puppy's going to pee all over my carpets. Oh no, you know, and so anyway, she makes a real valiant attempt for several weeks after she comes back to try to get a dog instead of a puppy. She comes back, you know, like I say, makes many attempts on the internet, through the papers, to find a dog that's already potty trained so she doesn't have to put up with the additional deposit. She gets an invitation to go to another country as a guest of honor to this town where she had taken some colored photos, and these color photos were the only color photos that they were going to show at this celebration. I don't think it was a 10-year or 20-year of the damage an earthquake had produced in some back country where she had been doing duty at some kind of a foreign relations thing at the time. And so she gets herself a job through, I don't know whether it was some public organization. She actually gets a paid job in a nearby country. So she goes over there for a month, again comes back, and then she gets a puppy, okay? And, you know, she sends me this letter over here, and to understand how pretentious this lady it is, you know, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, Coco, by the way, has been officially named, I pour a liberation to my ancestors as required by West African custom at the official outdooring. But it wasn't to my ancestors, of whom I am suitably ashamed, but Coco's. She's got quite a lineage. Please feel free to stop by and greet the rowdy little beast, who's blissfully aware that her veins carry blue blood in them. This is the kind of pretentiousness of this tenant. Now, I really enjoyed this person, and every time I spent most of my time actually at her place doing work for her. And you know, she liked really fine things, so I was always going over to Barris thrift shop and getting things for her. Anyways, in response to this letter, I go over to meet her new puppy. And let's see, we have some pictures of her puppy here. Yeah, here's some pictures of her puppy. See if you can see this. This is her puppy next to a nice wet puddle of pee, which has not even soaked into the thing yet. Here's another spot in front of their couch. Here's the cute little puppy sitting in front of a turd, and you can see all the pee spots that he's made around here too. She cleans, you know, does a pretty good job of cleaning it up. So anyway, I go over to meet this puppy, and I think by this time it was actually a little smaller than this. At the time I went and see, this is a chair next to her. So anyways, I go over to see this puppy, and I walk in the house. Now, whenever I do work in her house, I always take my shoes off, and I usually wear white socks. And so I go into her house, and the first day I went over to meet this new dog in response to this letter, I walk in, and gush, I walk through 2 puddles of pee. I sit down at the chair. She calls the puppy in, and the puppy comes in and pees on my foot. And I kind of go like, you know, I think we're going to have that additional deposit. Oh, no. I'll have them trained within days. I've trained many dogs, you know, I've trained puppies before, and I know how to do it. And I was, okay, well, just for the hell of it, I'm going to tarp the place out, okay, just to help you along. So I tarp her whole house in with painting tarps. That's the thick canvas type or the plastic type, both of which if he pees on, it's going to be absorbed mostly by the material and not go, at least it's not going to go through the carpeting into the padding, all right? About 2 days later, she removes the the tarping, because by this time she's actually getting a little bit feeble. She's had some severe cancer, and the way I was made aware of this, the second time I drove her to the airport, in other words, I always offer my tenants that I'll drive them to and from the airport if they need to go there so they don't have to leave their car parked down there. And so I drive her down to the airport for the second trip she arranges, and on the way down there I make this comment. Oh, by the way, she moves in, she has this cat. You know, she says, is this safe for a cat? I said, look, the previous tenant had a cat. Here, it didn't get out. The previous cat, her cat is a whole bunch more lively, and it can get out. I mean, I put up fences. I spend half my time trying to enclose her place to make it so this pet can be in the yard. But the reality is the cat will get over anything, and she just does not have the common sense. I don't want to say, you know, you're going to have to keep your cat inside. I keep trying to patch up these places it gets out that she finds, and you know, she just insists on having it outside. Now, anyhow, finally, you know, she's not going to pay me the additional deposit to cover the cost of the carpets, and so that's just one matter, anyways. But it'll come up in a lawsuit. So anyway, I'm over there working like almost every day. She's asking me all the time, you know, how come the other tenant, you know, what are the other tenants thinking about the fact you're always working for me and you're not doing anything for them? Well, I prioritize my work, and I said, well, you know, you always like hearing what you're doing, and you always invite me over for coffee and wine, and you know, and then get me to do more work. So, you know, I said, I'll get around to them. There simply was nothing pressing in the other units, and so one day, I also work at San Diego Chicken Pie Shop. They had been, inspectors had come in and said, you got to replace these grease traps. I've been delaying that. Finally, you know, they were being fined for not having it done, and I had to like stop working for her. And you know, one day she says, hey John, I'd like you to do this, that, and the other thing on the continuing outpouring of things she wanted done. And I said, look, Mrs. Moore, I've got to take a few weeks off here and do some work for some of my other customers. Okay? Immediately, the next day I come home, and okay, where is it? Let's see. She sends me the nastygram. The nastygram, here it is. It's just a nastygram. Come on. Come on. Come on, where's the nastygram? Okay, here it is. Okay, so I come home one day, I park out in the alley, I come out and I see somebody with a flashlight out in front of the house by the parking, and I go out there and Mrs. Moore's out there with a flashlight looking under the cars, and I says, what are you looking for? And she says, the cat. And I said, well, you know, the cat is usually, and by the way, her personality would change in the evening. Anyways, I said, you know, the cat usually hides, because from the first day she arrived there and she had this cat, and she had to leave on this trip right away, she says, look, I've got this cat, you know, could you possibly stay in my house and stay here at night and keep my cat company? And I said, sure. So, you know, because I work on the property, my office is on the property, I live on the property, no problem. I'll go over there, watch my TV, drink my wine, help yourself to the refrigerator. I'm going to be gone for about a month. Okay, I do that. She comes back, goes on a second trip. Same thing. Please watch the house. She doesn't have the puppy yet. Comes back, gets the puppy. All right. I come to a point where I go, Mrs. Moore, you know, I gotta stop for a little bit and do some work for some other people. Now, she's used to working in these foreign countries, and she explained this to me. And she's used to having these, like, you can hire a maid, you can hire like a personal service for like $3 a day. And she's been treating me like a personal service, but she also treats me very nice. So, you know, I don't mind going over there and doing things for her all the time.